Brownlow Jr. says, sign me up as manager. Well, I don't think anybody could do much worse than Mick McCarthy has done so far. Eugene McGee, Eugene thinks Brendan Rodgers. Are you just pulling these out from a hat of lists of managers? You've said all sorts, Eugene. I don't think Brendan Rodgers will be coming here, to be honest. I just don't think that's going to be a possibility. Damien is here. Good morning from the States. I'm looking forward to a fresh start next season. Please stay away from the disastrous loan players and find a manager who is young and ambitious. Yes, that would be a very good shout there. John Haslam said, need a fresh start, get rid of idiots who keep getting priorities wrong, concentrate more with on-field plans and never go back to appoint ex-managers. Well, I'm going to be talking about this. Obviously, there is news that the club have been talking with Critchley on this. I don't know whether it's true or not, whether that's just rumours. Would you want Critch back? I'm not sure it's going to be a very popular decision, the way that everybody was so upset about the way he left the club. So I'm not quite sure. I'm really not quite sure that Critch is the answer, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure if it would divide the club as much as Appleton did. So maybe if you listen to this, Simon Sadler, maybe, there's other managers other than Critch. He's not the only one in the world, surely. And his record since we... I know people are ringing in. Well, I'm not taking calls yet, so there'll be no phone calls. I've got too much to get through, but we will take calls maybe later. And I may have a guest... caller come in as well, which could be quite exciting. I've already spoken with him already, so there could be a call coming in that you can also stay tuned, and we'll have a chat with a former player over it all. Dublin Chief fan, Liam Richardson will have to do to get us past the finishing line. Maybe. It was strange why he got sacked by Wigan. Mia Medal is here saying hi to everyone. Hi, Mia. Crazy Football Vlogs, of course. He is a Blackpool vlogger. Bailey, if you haven't checked him out yet, Crazy Football Vlogs. His channel does what it says on the tin. It's all pretty much Crazy Football Vlogs. Charlie Adam would be good. We don't know. Do we know? Will Charlie Adam be good? I know a few people are talking about Charlie Adam. He's no experience as being a manager. He's a big name, obviously, around us. Would he be the answer, Charlie Adam? I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, great player. Is he a great manager? No idea. Harry Atherton says, in what world do you think Brendan Rodgers is coming to League One? Yes, I think Eugene just puts it up to be controversial. He was mentioning... I'm not surprised he hasn't mentioned Pep Guardiola yet, because he's come up with all sorts of crazy... Jacob Dellett's also laughing at the thought of Brendan Rodgers. Eugene, I think it's all just to get you all wound up. William Evanson says, Dobbie can only bring back some pride this season and go down with a fight. We need to plan for next season with a massive clear out on and off the pitch. Well, with regard to that, we've got 6 games to go. I think it was pretty clear from what we saw yesterday that I don't think Blackpool under Mick McCarthy would get a single point. I don't think we'd win one game with him, for the simple reason that you could just tell by the body language of the players yesterday that they're like ghosts of their previous selves. They just looked devoid of confidence. They looked like they weren't enjoying themselves here. I don't think Mick McCarthy has been popular. And I hope, all I'm hoping is that they like Stephen Dobbie and he's a bit more of a mate, and they actually come out of this shell that they're in, and they just want to give it the best for Stephen Dobbie. And if they do that, and we see a performance... I was actually talking to my eldest on the phone earlier on, and he was reminding me, if you remember the Tranmere Rovers game just before lockdown, where Tranmere Rovers came to Bloomfield Road under Mickey Mellon. They brought about 2,500. They brought some military drummers, and they were doing. They were just so loud and so incredible. And they got 1-0 up. And to be honest, Blackpool just battered them in the second half. We battered them and battered them and battered them, and they kicked off the line. They got bodies in the way. They were blocking everything, and it just would not go in. And they were battling to avoid relegation, and they beat us. And when the fans were coming out, we were there and we were applauding them because they were amazing. And I felt at that time happy for them. I was happy for the fans. They were unbelievable. They sung and they deserved it just for the pure battling performance that they put in. And of course, sadly, the league stopped then and they got relegated. But they had chances. I think they had a game in hand. They could have got themselves out, but because the league just stopped where it was, they went down. But that was the kind of performance, that Tranmere Rovers performance that I was talking about, that we have to be like that. There was none of that yesterday. There's no putting your body on the line, getting blocks in, doing everything you can possible to stop that ball going in the net. There was none of that yesterday, and I'm just hoping that under Dobbie, you're going to see like a big, massive rain cloud lifted off the club because, the players looked down and I felt sorry for them yesterday. I wasn't angry with them. Again, I was angry with the fact that we were abusing Chris Maxwell and, it doesn't help, I mean, he lets one goal in and the fans are on his back and, then he lets 2 and 3 and, we create that panicking players and they've got that in their heads and it doesn't help. But it doesn't help anything. I don't know why we've become this sort of miserable bunch that we are. It's not normally like us. True Red is here. Still haven't got hope for you after yesterday, but it just didn't seem right from the off appointing MICK MCCARTHY. No, it's not worked out, has it? Brownlow Jr. says MICK MCCARTHY gone means one thing: we're staying up. Joke, yeah, we're still doomed. Well, probably. Daniel Appleby said, I don't want to say it, but I reckon Neil will be back. You don't want to say it, so you're of the opinion that you don't want Neil Critchley back. I think there's a lot of Blackpool fans of that opinion, to be honest. I think there's lots of fans will not want him back. It's been called the snake and all the rest. And if he started fist pumping the crowd, would we all be up for that? I'm not sure. Alex Gibson says, let's just be honest, McCarthy just wasn't good enough. Correct, he wasn't good enough at all. Peter Heat says, I stated last night, be careful what you wish for. Well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, because certainly MICK MCCARTHY was... I don't think we'd have won a single game under MICK MCCARTHY. Just the way, the players, the body language, everything underneath him, it's just not gone down well. It's not been popular, and you can see that. You can see that all day long. Anthony says, Blackpool get battered everywhere they go. Enjoy League One. Thank you much. Thank you very much for that, Anthony. Deacon Beaver says, it's too late, to be honest. Well... miracles can happen. There's 6 games to go. There's still 6 games to go. It's not we're not mathematically down. So I don't know. Maybe the players could just be inspired by the fact they've just they obviously didn't like MICK MCCARTHY. I think it was quite clear to see just in the body language of the players. Usually McGeevy now says, do you think it's a turning point for Blackpool now after MICK MCCARTHY got the sack? It may not be. It may not be. It may. If Stephen Dobbie doesn't win a game to the end of the season, he won't do any worse than MICK MCCARTHY was doing. We were never going to win underneath him. And I'm glad that the board have made the decision to get rid of McCarthy. They just need to now make the decision to get rid of Ben Mansford, and then we'll all be happy. Daniel Appleby says, we need Neil. Was he the best coach ever? Was he, have we built Neil Critchley up to be this sort of master technician that without him we're useless? There was lots of times when I didn't really like what Neil Critchley did. I didn't think he was that good a manager at times. I just don't think he was like MICK MCCARTHY. I think, the players liked him. I think the players, liked him and respected him. I think he had a lot of respect for them. And I did think he made our club better. And I did say at the start of the season that, any good manager could have taken those players that Neil Critchley had and turned them into better players, because I thought there's more experienced managers than Neil Critchley. Should you ever bring a manager back? Does it work second time? I don't know. I'm not too sure. And since he's left us, he's not done very well, has he? Joe Bottomley, he says, I think in that final interview, MICK MCCARTHY was as pissed off as the fans with what was happening on the pitch and decided to end his and our misery. Jerry Yates, hat-trick and a win at Luton coming up. Wouldn't that be good, Joe? Yes, indeed. Peter Donnelly says, afternoon, it's great news. Yes, it is good news. I mean, it's good news. Whether it'll save us, I don't know, but it's definitely good news. It wasn't working, was it? It was a disaster. 8-Bit Star Max says, a job for Big Sam. Again, a previous manager. Do we want another previous manager back at the club? Alex Gibson said, at the end of the day, Blackpool just aren't good enough at the moment, and it's a big shame at the moment. Well, that could change. You never know. Steve H says, hopefully we can stop the rot under Dobbie and in the background look to lay the foundations for next season. Recruitment is key in the summer and needs to be 10 times better than this season. I agree. And we need to get a manager in early, don't we? Any other shouts for managers other than Pep Guardiola or whoever that Eugene's going to come up with? W&G fan says we need a League One manager for a League One team. Do we? Was Critchley a League One manager? Or do we just need a good manager, informed manager, a manager coming in with confidence, a manager that knows how to win, a manager that plays the kind of football, the Blackpool way that we keep talking about, not the way we're playing under Mick McCarthy, but the Blackpool way, attacking. Is there a manager out there, who's good enough to manage in the Championship? Never mind League One, who can take us into the Championship? Ian Melly says, I think you should go for Ryan Lowe as assistant at Plymouth. He was the brains behind it, and look what Lowe has done with Preston. Yeah, I don't know. He's done better than we have, but the Preston fans were not very happy with Ryan Lowe earlier on in the season, but maybe. John Morell says, afternoon, sadly the Mick sacking has come 4 games too late to save you. Well, there is that, isn't there? There is that. Is it just simply too late to save us? Daniel Appley still says we need Critch back. We need Critch back. Would I take Neil Critchley back? I don't think I would, to be honest. I don't think I would. There was a lot about him I didn't really like, if I'm being honest, and I don't like going back to former managers. It doesn't often work. And we've got our mystery caller coming in. Let me just answer the phone. Hello, is that Mr. Eamon O'Keefe?
Is this the Blackpool phone-in?
It is. Welcome to the show. We'll stop the comments for a minute. I've got on the phone here. I spoke to Eamon earlier. He's a big fan of the channel and, one of my favourite players of all time. Dad will be doing his nut now that Eamon O'Keefe is on the phone. But you've heard the news, Eamon, that Mick McCarthy has gone. What are your thoughts? Tell me your thoughts.
I try to keep from not swearing, but
right, you can swear all you like.
I don't want to. No, I don't. Okay, no, right. Listen, I'm better than that. Okay. Mick, great lad, know him from the international scene and all that, but I'm afraid he's got to have some passion to want to be. He's been there and been here and been there.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of people getting positions because they've done something, but what they've done, they've failed at. I mean, if you look at Alex Ferguson, they wanted him to stay, never mind retire. We've got to look for someone who wants to make it, not who thinks they've been there and done it.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, Lee, the people that are choosing them. I mean.
You can name names.
I'm getting very frustrated.
It's all right, you can name names.
Spoke to Mick Conroy, who's a European coach and sent players to Celtic and everything from Ireland, because he's still in Ireland where I took him when we were manager at Cork. We won the cup at Cork. We won what's named. They didn't have any money in the end. Blackpool's got people who are appointing people. And as the experience of appointing, have they got that?
I don't know, because we don't don't actually know what the process involves, but we do know it involves Ben Mansford in all of this, who is quite literally the most hated man in Blackpool at the moment. He's the one that I think everybody would be cheering more than Mick McCarthy.
Well, who is he?
Exactly, who is he? And
you know what I mean? It's like me, I said before, it's like, I'm going for a job as an electrician. Have you done it before? No, you've got the job then. It's a joke, isn't it? It's a complete joke.
Yes.
Me and Conroy still have very, very like, I've got a massive affection for Blackpool because they did a testimonial for me when I got injured. I was enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I feel as though they're letting it slip. And it really. I mean, I've not said much, but I mean, and MICK MCCARTHY, I've not got anything against him other than his crap. He's a centre half. Head it as far as you can, boot it into the corner. We'll chase it, bring it down on our ear, and try and score. And if you don't, you're a useless striker. That's his method.
I think you mentioned something to me about asking him how he's gone on his previous jobs in the interview.
Well, which one do you want to go at? Which ones do you want to go at?
Well,
he played for Ireland. He was manager of Ireland.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's not as if he's been at clubs where he could succeed. You know, especially in the lower ones. I mean, he played for City, where again that type of player, a bit like Larry Lloyd, he was another one. When I was at Wigan with him, he was one of these, like, they don't have centre halves like that today. Now they have players. They have class acts at the back. If you look at Man United, they play superb from the back.
Yeah.
The smaller lad. They don't have big, and funny enough, they don't have big frontmen anymore. You know, like target men. So what qualified him? It's all about getting up to speed, you know. And
with the modern game,
it's right. Yeah, and put the kids in. I'm not being funny. If you've got people who are strolling about, get them off. After 5 minutes, he's strolling about. Get him off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have the guts to say, listen, we got to the end of the season. I said to Conrad, if he went in there now, have a run in training, see who wants to burst the neck to play, and put him in.
Yeah.
Put him in, because what have you got to lose?
No.
You know, they look as though they're strolling about. You know, my socks look nice and all that. What do you think of this kit? It's crap. It's crap.
It is.
We had fighters. You know, we had Colin Greenall. He wasn't the biggest in the world.
No.
But I tell you what, he didn't have to put himself about.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was successful. You know, he was quick on the floor and dead good in the air for them days centre half. And I'm just thinking about that passion that seems to be missing. When I've been to the game, there's like I don't know what it is, but there's something not upright. You know, there's someone not on the pitch that's not leading. If you know what I mean, you're like get real good tackling early on and
stamp your
accurate,
authority on the game right from the get-go.
It looks like, well, never mind, I'll get another club next year. You know.
Have you watched much of us this season, Eamon? I know you've been down a few times, haven't you? So, have you watched much of the Blackpool games this season? Have you been down?
I've been invited. John Cross has always invited me. Always, in fact, I'd also been invited at Everton and what have you as well. And there's a very similar situation where some of the so-called top players. It depends what you say by a top player. They want someone to give 100%.
Yes.
And then might have a bit of skill as well.
I think we all love 100%ers, don't we? You know, we all love that 100%er. Like Jerry Yates, we all love him. It doesn't matter that he's not scored like 20 goals. We love him because he gives 100%, and he's about the only one that is giving 100% at the moment. And
but he must be the most frustrated player in the world, isn't he?
Oh, you should have seen him in the Preston game.
He's got to be gutted out of his brains because he's basically when we won when we won promotion at Blackpool, for example.
Yeah.
We had like 10 of them. In fact, we probably had 11.
Yeah.
We had Windridge and all right, people were raging like mad, but they absolutely died for the cause, you know.
Yeah.
They absolutely got tackling and I just thought, right, I'll ring you up because you just had enough. You know, I've been to the games and and all that, and it's almost accepted, like, you know.
Yeah. Just not giving it all. There's no way 100%. I actually had a rant video out. I said exactly the same thing. That they're not battling down the bottom of the league side. They're just not battling for it.
This might sound like a real grovelly thing, but if I said to Conroy, listen, let's go to Blackpool between now and the end of the season, right, for nothing, right, and find out where the fighters are and wind a few of them up, right. I'm sure I'm not sure. I don't think we might save them, but we'd certainly get a decent response, I think. to having the guts to say, you're strolling about, so I'm taking you off. I don't care if it's only a minute gone. You know, if you want to do that, go and do it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the good thing we've got.
Some grafters on.
The good thing we've got, Eamon, is Stephen Dobbie's taking over, and he's been in charge of the development squad. So he's been watching the kids. You know, he's been doing quite well with all the kids. So he knows if he's got a couple of players that maybe he could slot in, that could step up. You know what I mean? He will know them. And I think you know, you're right. I think maybe, you know,
the trouble with that is, though, the trouble with that is, which is great. Yeah. He's not like Conrad's got experience winning with Celtic and all that. I've played for the country and what have you. It's having that experience of respect. The players to respect. If I'm having a go at someone, they're not going to say, well, what do you know? You know, I'm not going to say to McCarthy, how did you bring that ball down there and flicked it through your legs and all that? Because he never did it. You know, it's my thing is to say, if you've got respect of people who stood in front of you, then, you know, and also, if you say to them, if you don't give 100%, I'm going to drag you off, and mean it, then you get a different response completely.
Well, so you're not sure Dobbie's the answer then? Would you say not to the a lot of fans have been sort of championing Dobbie because he's been doing well with the development squad, and he's obviously ex-Blackpool football player, and you know he's more their sort of age, and you know he was a good player.
I think if you put, I feel for him a bit, because if you put him into the higher than that, it's like he's going to get, well, what have you done?
Well, he's been a good player, though, Eamon. You know, he has been a good player. He's been a good player, Stephen Dobbie. Stephen Dobbie was a good player. I really liked him, and we should have won.
I'm talking about in experience of where they are at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
There's a lot of people who's very good at the youth, the kids, because the youth kids are dying to make it.
Yeah.
You don't need to energise them.
Yeah, he's not been a manager, is what you mean. He's not been a manager.
No, exactly. And you need to if Alex Ferguson's talking in a room and someone says, what do you know at management, they'd laugh him out of the room, wouldn't they? Yeah. I'm not, you know, what I'm saying is let's get someone who feels that thing for the club as well. Like Conroy said, we run through a brick wall for Sam because he got everyone at it.
Yeah.
You know? He got everyone, you know, and they were all prepared to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
so you're putting yourself up for the job then, Eamon? Yeah, you're putting yourself up for it.
Hey, listen.
You and Conroy
if Blackpool needed me to help them. If Blackpool needed me to help them out,
right,
at the end of the season, I'd be absolutely delighted.
For free, is it?
I can't do any worse. Put it that way.
For free, are you saying the two of you can come in? We need
Absolutely.
Simon Sudley, if you're watching this show now, you heard it here live on LeeCharlesTV. Eamon O'Keefe and Conroy in as manager and assistant to help us get through these last 6 games.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, we won't do any worse than the last one.
No. You can't possibly. His record is terrible. I mean, we have a young lad
but
there
I tell you what we will do. If anyone wants to stroll about, they'll last about a minute.
Yeah, well, that's what it needs, doesn't it? You know, it needs...
Absolutely.
It needs
absolutely.
100%.
Every team needs it.
Yeah.
Okay. A bit of respect, and with all due respect to training the young kids is a lot different than playing up the, you know, and every step at a time, and you can bring him in, and you've got to take advice from him. If he's got young kids that are running like mad, and you're at the bottom of the league, well, you might want to say to him, have we got anyone who can do a better job then? Let's get them in. No matter how old they are, 17, 18, whatever, get them in.
Well, they'll be hungry, won't they?
Can't lose. What have we got to lose?
I mean, they're all playing for a contract and the dream of being a professional footballer, so they're going to be a little bit more motivated.
What you've got at the moment is ones that have been there thinking, I'll just go to another club when they've gone down here and all that, you know.
We've got a lot of loans in as well, you know, the likes of Patino and, you know... I mean, we have got a lad called Fiorini. I don't know if you've seen him, Luis Fiorini. And in the last 3 games, he's actually played because he got injured away at QPR, and then he came. You know, he's been out for a long time. He came back against Stoke. We were fantastic at QPR away. He was playing with Patino. We were brilliant. They both got injured, and we hung on. He's come in for the Stoke game. They had to take him off at half-time because he had a yellow card, but we were beating Stoke. We played terrible after they took him off. And then he was in the game we won 6-1 just a couple of weeks ago, and when they took him off, we were 5-1 up, and he's not played him since. So in those 3 games, in the 3 games that he's played, albeit QPR was like back last year because he's been injured, but he's been on the winning side every time. He pings the ball about. He plays with a smile on his face. He's really quick. He reads the game fast, and Mick McCarthy won't play him.
But you want more than half your team to have that similar passion.
Yeah.
And if they haven't got it, you've got to recognise it. Yeah. And if you're not recognising it and you're carrying on every week, never mind, I'll still get my money and then I'll be all right to the end of the year anyway.
Yeah.
Then what kind of incentives that? What kind of, it's just true. I had to talk to you, Lee, because everyone's getting frustrated and they say things, but I mean this is getting to beyond a joke. You bring Mick in and they're not, no one's really fighting for survival.
No,
as far as I can see.
No, they're not.
There's no urgency,
No, there's not.
And it's that clever thing, like that Ten Hag at United. They're winning 1-0, and they bring people off and put more central defenders. They said, well, we'll settle for 1-0 as long as it's a win. You've got to have that thing to have the guts to do it. He's not happy the way they're playing, but at least they've won at the end, and then they can put it right what they're moaning at, But,
exactly. There is
I just like.
You're right, and I've just said the same thing. We played Tranmere Rovers on the last game before COVID shut us down, and they were in the bottom 3, and they came with Mickey Mellon. You remember Mickey Mellon was manager?
Yes,
and I did. They got a goal up, and the second half, Blackpool battered them. It was like all over them, and they kicked off the line. They put bodies in the way, and they fought, and the fans sang the whole match. They never stopped singing for them, and they beat us, because they were like, my dad would always say, a team battling at the bottom.
The passion.
Yeah, a team at the bottom of the league, they're hard to beat because they're battling for their lives, and we're not battling for our lives, are we? And that's exactly what you're saying. We're not putting in
exactly what. And what I'm saying is it's a good manager recognises that, right?
Yeah.
And at this position they're in at the moment, at this minute, at the moment, the position is to say to them, right, if we think we're going to go down, and if we're not going down without a fight, so put all the fighters on.
Yes.
Even if he's a young kid who's trying to burst his, even if you're going to lose by people posing, you might as well lose by someone giving 100% who's you nearly have to carry off at the end because he's run himself into the floor. They're the ones you need.
You're preaching to the converted. You're preaching to the converted. Amen. I'm totally 100% agree with you.
Well, if you're going to argue about me, you can argue about who gives the manager or who gives the directors and that, where have they got the nous to pick a manager,
They haven't.
Where did they get?
They haven't. They haven't.
And they chose to get someone because they've heard the name, the name. I just think it's just, and the likes of people who live there, like Colin Greenall and people like that.
Yeah.
They really, really put themselves about. They earned the promotions and stuff, and I would imagine the ones who did when they got promoted into where they are now. But there's a different league then, and you have to move ahead again. Not only do you want people who give 100%, you want someone with a bit of skill as well,
Yes, of course.
Because you're going higher up.
Well, we haven't invested. We didn't invest in the summer. That we didn't. They didn't spend any money on players. We missed out on all the targets. No, you can't because we're only little Blackpool, and we've got to be bang at it from the minute the season kicks off. We can't be starting off, as Jane said, playing catch up.
In fairness to the supporters, you need to say, look, if we go down, we'll have to go back. We'll have to work to get up again. We'll have to say, right, let's get some solid fighters in and stuff like that, and also let's get a couple of skilled young kids. And they're looking, like you say, the lads are doing well. The young kids have the guts to throw them in.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, Alan Hansen said, "You won't get anything with kids." You remember Man United, Aston Villa?
Yes.
And this was Scholes, the two Nevilles.
Yeah.
And Nicky Butt.
Beckham.
And, they were crap, weren't they?
Well, they threw him in, didn't they? All the kids. I mean, Alex brought a generation of kids
guts,
through.
You see. He had the guts to put him in.
He did have the guts.
You've got to say, he's looking all right in the reserves or in training. Right, get him in.
Yes.
You know, not the poser who's strolling about going, oh, you know, I'm going for a cup of tea. No, you don't need any of that. I need someone who wants to have a go at everyone else, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got that Fernandez at United. He's actually moaning at the rest of the team and all that. But to me, that's brilliant. He wants to win. He doesn't want anyone to stroll about and mess about. He wants to win, and you need them people on it.
You do. You do.
I was talking to Conroy, and he said they haven't got. It's that steel. It's that thing that, you know. I mean, me and him are best of mates and have been from Blackpool days, right? On the pitch, everyone thought we hated one another because we were demanding off one another. You know what I mean? Like, get it in here, you know? Yeah. Get it in, and shouting at ball. You say, my best mates, Conroy. Are you joking? You've just been effing and blinding him like all the match.
Yeah, because you spur each other on and you G each other up. Yes.
Listen, I'm sorry to load all this on you,
it's
but fantastic. I've still got a very big feeling for Blackpool Football Club, and I think that comes across.
Yes, it does. I know you were saying to me as well that, you know, when the board are interviewing these managers and they say to MICK MCCARTHY, you know, what have you done in your last few jobs? And he said, well, I failed in them all. You do not give him the job, you know, do you? If you failed on your CV, you don't get the job. You need a manager that's, yes, I've had success here, I've had success there.
Like I said to you before, you don't go for the head plumber's job and say, have you been a plumber before? No, I've yet, but I'm all right with it. I'll be all right. Oh, go on, then you're in. It doesn't work, does it? But it does in football, or it has in football, because the people choosing haven't been there.
No, I don't understand what Ben Mansford brings to the table.
We need experienced people who's like Ted Conroy, for example, who I'm talking about. He's been at Celtic when they've won the cup in the final and all that. He knows the feeling of the success, and what it is 90% hard work, and then the skill comes through in the end. Whereas they've got it the wrong way round. I'm all right, it's the skill, but I'm not going to run about like, or I mean, having the guts to haul them off. If you've got subs on the bench, you've got more subs than Soft Mick today. Yeah. We only had one in our day.
Yeah.
If he's not doing it, get him off. Get him off. You know, have the guts. If you're going to go down fighting.
Yeah. I think we're all totally
anyway, I've had my say. I've had my say. Cheers, and I'm glad you've listened to me, because otherwise I would give it to wife when she come in. Because I've still I'm so grateful for them, and I'd like to think I tried to do my bit anyway. But it really hurts when I see what's happening.
Yeah.
Especially when they got up promoting 1 minute and then they look as though they're strolling about.
It's been all for nothing, it feels, you know, and all the good work that all the good work that Simon Sadler has put in is all going to be ruined. Well, thanks a lot for calling in, Eamon. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And,
well, thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
But I hope someone else is listening. Not just the three that you normally get.
There's plenty in the stream. There's lots of comments coming in. Right, thanks a lot, Eamon. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Take care.
Talk to you soon, lad.
Best of luck.
Bye.
Thanks. Well, there you go, Eamon O'Keefe. Did you agree with all that? I kind of have to agree with all of it, really. You know, he's right. We need a team of battlers, and we just haven't got that. Let's just go back to the comments. I'll quickly go over to Facebook, see if there's anybody on there. No, I don't think there is. Right, okay. Just find my way back to the where we were. Joffa Big Sam. Yes, I've done that one. Would I take Neil back? No. MB says, I think we need to identify the way we want to play, then go and find the right man for that style. Daniel Appleby said, if Bolton don't go up, would you get Ian Evatt? I think a lot would get Ian Evatt. I think he would be a great fit. Ian R. Critchley, definite no. True Red says it's a terrible appointment in the first place. He's too old-fashioned. Mansford in his comments obviously showed his disinterest, doesn't care. Indeed. Alex Gibson thinks Critch would turn you around, though it seems like he knew what he was doing. At times it did. John Aslam says Critchley will divide the club, will not work. A few for Charlie Adam. Rooney, says Daniel Appleby. Pete Laycock says a good, young and forward-thinking manager is required. Probably something like that could definitely work. Somebody with a bit of success as well would work. maybe poaching somebody from somewhere would also be a first for Blackpool. Like Ian Melly says, maybe we could do getting somebody in who stops us getting battered everywhere we go. That would be good. Then you could stop singing that song. That would be great. William Edmondson says Critchley was poor at the end and saw he'd reached his peak and was on the way down. It went pear-shaped after Collingwood left. It did, didn't it? Yes, it was a big loss. Peter Donnelly says there's only one reason Dobbie has got it, because Dobbie is free. Well, there you are. You just heard Eamon O'Keefe and Mick Conroy would come in for free. They were coming for free. Eddie Howe. Is that Eddie Howe, Alex Gibson? Yes, I would take Ian Everett, Daniel. Yes, I would. Would I take Dean Smith? Not too... Would I? I don't know. What about Joey Barton? Well... Yeah, well, he's been Fleetwood manager, hasn't he? He's done a good job at Bristol Rovers. I don't think anybody would have Holloway back. He's burned his bridges signing with the Oysons. Gerrard, no, I don't think Gerrard would come here anyway. Ollie Gunny Solskjaer, oh yes, he would definitely come, wouldn't he? Lucas Turner says we need Neil Critchley back. Dave Morrison says, please, no, not Critchley. Does nobody remember the end of last season? The home games against Derby in a way that Peterborough, it was terrible. Yes, it was absolutely. I've not forgotten it, Dave. It was awful. In fact, there was a lot. I mean, you may remember when we were doing the watch-alongs, Jane and I, even in the season we got promoted, we at one time the thumbnail was we watch it so you don't have to. It was literally that bad under Critchley. I don't know. He turned it around. Ellis Sims turned it around for us, getting him in. When he finally started playing him, he was unbelievable. Alex Gibson says, being serious though, I reckon get Joey Barton, start afresh going into next season, new season, fresh start, see what happens and go for promotion back to the Championship. We have to try and get back to the Championship as quickly as possible, don't we? Don't want to be down there for another 30 years or I'll never see us getting back. Says Critchley's a worse choice than Appleton. Phil says we need a fresh manager with passion and fire. Yes, we do. And do we need a manager like what Eamon's been saying, who's prepared to take players off the pitch that aren't putting in 100% on the pitch? Eugene McKeever's going for Roy Keane. Eugene, I don't know why you're picking him up, just plucking him out of the air. I'm not sure about that either. Adam wants Critch back. Apology needed, but he's the best man to take us back up. Well, he did it once, didn't he? Can he do it again? Is it good to go back to an old girlfriend? It doesn't always work out, does it? WG found that it took 5 months to get Appleton out. McCarthy took about 2 months. Have him back so he can jump ship again as soon as a half-decent club comes in for him. Well, you wouldn't trust him, would you? I'm not too sure. He did jump straight away. Valamir says, if Dobbs can rescue us, he needs to be given a contract going forward. No one compares to Holloway for Toby Larone. Do you agree with that? Rainer says, don't forget that Neil got sacked from QPR for a reason. Yes, it was a very long moment, according to their fanzine. We're in a moment, a very long moment. Eugene McGeever thinks Big Sam will come out of retire. I don't know what you're on, Eugene. I don't know what you're drinking, to be honest. You're on some loopy juice or something. Danny888, B88 says, Blackpool fans have called for him to come, but I personally don't see it happening as a Bolton fan. Neither do I, Danny. I think he's doing a good job there, isn't he? And you all seem to love him there. Adam says, Critch got sacked from QPR, but that's more on the players more than him. Look how poor they are under Ainsworth. Well, yeah. He didn't help them, though, did he? I was hoping he was going to actually send QPR down and we were going to get out of it, but still could. Ian R says he never is another good choice, but would he leave Bolton Wanderers? I don't think he would. Jacob Dale says we'll be in non-league soon. It's worrying. I think we could double dip if we don't sort this out. Adam Lawrenson says, Lee, as a Preston fan, like your channel, but I think you're down. But do you think we get a late playoff push? You could do, couldn't you? You're starting to get your act together. You're looking strong. Defence is good. I don't think you're good enough. I didn't think you were that great, really. But hey, you never know. It's all about momentum. MB says Gary Monk is my first choice. Highly qualified coach with championship experience. Ian R says the rot started at near the top. Well, kind of the top, really, isn't it? Yeah, Ben Mansford. Just don't like anything he has to say. I don't think he gets Blackpool at all. He'd be the first person I would bin. Toby the Rowan says Paul Jewell. Peter Donnelly says, go for it, Eamon. Exactly. Go for the job, Eamon. He's going to come and do it for free. If Simon Sellers watching, Eamon O'Keefe and Mick Conroy. Lots of experience there, and they wouldn't take any prisoners. And you know, the players would respect them. Two great players. Danny B88, as a Bolton fan, I can only see Everett going to an upper championship club. He has a project here at Bolton. Yeah, he has a love for Blackpool, though. He did want the job before he got the Bolton job, but whether he want to come, because we kind of turned him down, didn't we? Which was a stupid thing. Stupid, really. Me323 says McCarthy didn't utilise the players. He had... that's for sure, but the issue is the team isn't strong enough. We're strong in some places, but let down being weak in others. Need to sort it next season. You are probably very right. Jane Davis, I don't want Critch back at all. He did a great job the first time, but after leaving and doing a shite job at QPR, putting them where they are now, I couldn't take him back. We need an experienced manager, to be honest. Well, we just had an experienced manager, and that didn't work either. We need a successful manager. We need a manager in form. We need to poach a good manager. You know, somebody who's capable of, you know, playing the way we want to play, and we've just got to get him. It's as simple as that. We've got to get him. Nick Muller is an Ipswich fan, says Mick likes it his way or no way. Ipswich fan, I am good manager but pig-headed. Yes, he was pig-headed. Peter Heath says people talking about this manager and that manager, but would they want to work with Mansford? And if he's in charge of the goings on, then maybe Bamber Bridge gaffer or Lytham FC gaffer might be in coming. Yes, I don't think anybody has faith in bullshit Ben, have they? Yes, got to go. Ryan S says Mark Hudson may be a good option long-term, young and experienced manager. Yes, however, he's a manager that is ambitious and would suit Blackpool in my opinion. Mark Hudson, I don't know who that is. Nicholas Hindle says Sadler needs to make a statement to the fans on our future and direction. I agree, he does need to come out and say something. MB says I get a vibe that Sadler can't be ours with all his negativity and will look to get out. Is that a bad thing? Do we need somebody in with a bit more money than Simon Sadler, with a bit more ambition than Simon Sadler, somebody that's going to do the things that need doing, like the stadium and the training ground, and also put football first? Nothing, it doesn't matter what you do on stadiums, on training grounds. If your football is garbage, you might as well not bother doing the pitch or anything else. I mean, we've got the best pitch we've had in years and years and years, and we're going down. So doing the pitch, yeah, it's a priority, but it ain't the first priority. Doing the pitch is, if we'd have had a great team, we'd have gone up with that pitch. It's the best team Blackpool. It's the best pitch that Blackpool have had for years, and they spent money on it, but they haven't spent money on players to play on it, and that's the problem. Get Bez registered. Is he not registered? MB says he isn't going to throw kids into championship. He isn't going to throw kids into championship football. Maybe not. But he will know if a kid will put more effort in than some of the players that are playing, who are obviously not putting effort in. William Burton said, does anyone think Blackpool can stay up? I don't. Or I really didn't under Mick McCarthy. I just keep praying that getting rid of him will lift the team. Hopefully we get the new manager bounce, as they always say, which we absolutely need. WG fan says William Burton absolutely not out of the question. WG fan says my top criticism for Mick McCarthy is why didn't he play Dan Grimshaw once in a while? A lot of people are asking the same question. I would actually like to see Stuart Moore put in. I've only seen him play a couple of times. He's looked brilliant. J4XS says, what do you think about us buying under 18 Finn Garantias from Sporting? I have no idea who he is or what team you support, to be honest. It's, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. I know people are phoning in. I'm not taking phone calls at the moment. I will. Just let me get through the comments as quick as I can. Danny Cole says, as much as you love this since I was young, I follow the NCFC. This team for me, la 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 la. They've been singing that one song for about half an hour now. What are you watching there, Danny? I don't know what you're watching. I don't know. What NCFC? Time to end the call. You've had enough of Eamon, right? Okay. MB says, thanks, Eamon. You are a legend. Ian Pervader says, I am one of the... Jan Pervader says, I am one of the three. Is that official Jan Pervader? Is that actually... Is it? It can't be, surely. Yeah, McCarthy should have played you more. Yes, he absolutely should. If that's a spoof account of Jan Pervader, but yeah, I agree. He should have played Pervader more than we have done. And unfortunately, Jan Pervader was on yesterday, and there was no Jerry Yates or any strikers for him to pass to or do anything for. Ian R says you need more than determination to win matches. Yeah, you do, but if you haven't got any determination at all, you're not. Going to somebody's saying, is that actually Jan Pervader? I don't know, but if it is, and we need to ring in, don't we? I'd love to hear from Jan Pervader. Damon says, great information. My favourite player as a kid. Semi-Charm Life says, determination can make a difference, but you still need quality and good form. I think we've got quality and good form. It's just the players have given up. Neil Critchley to return, says Blue Terrier. I don't know. Stevie G is a good shout because he has links to big clubs. I don't think Stevie G would want to come here at the moment, to be honest. WG fan is saying that to Blue Terrier that, well, of course he does. He wouldn't get the same receptions. Of course he won't. We've been calling him a snake for like nearly a year. Jan Pervader needs a manager who will play. Yeah, exactly. We would need a manager that will play Pervader. We do. And bloody Fiorini as well. Absolutely, that's what we need. Nicholas Indelson, sell the club satellite if you're not interested in forwarding the club. Yes, I think there's a lot of people now starting to think that he's not really putting his money where his mouth is on the pitch. Shane Benjamin said, think we need to look further afield. Plenty of leagues out there. Why restrict it to the UK? Try something new. Well, we did, didn't we? We went to Germany, to Tom Tribal. He got injured within 3 games. Ian Arthur, stop the rot from the top. Get rid of bullshit Ben. Yes, if you listen to this, Simon Sadler, get rid of him. Just get rid of him. Blue Terrier says Mick McCarthy's tactics were outdated over 5 years ago. Should never have appointed him. Well, it seems to have been a major mistake. Semi-Charm Life agrees with Shane Benjamin. Got to cast a wide net for players. Well, I remember, when we got Kasper's Gorks, I thought we were going to get loads of Latvian players in with the Bellicon connection, and he was phenomenal. John Haslam says, don't like the man, but Nathan Jones shows lots of passion. A few people have mentioned Nathan Jones. He does. He certainly does. MB says, if Dobbie keeps us up, he should get a statue on Blackpool Pro. I kind of agree with that. Would we try foreign again? What, after the Riga Revolution? I don't know. Brendan says Bluebirds. Yes, you were. Yeah, we gave you the game. Blackpool FC fan wants Lee Charles as the next manager. You're desperate if you do. Shane Benjamin said, I would suspect there's a fair few British coaches out there on the continent that just are not known over here. Maybe there are. We've got to find somebody. Neil is a traitor, says Nicholas Indelson. Not for him. Highly, have the club stopped you from filming games? No, they haven't. They haven't stopped us. They've always been okay with us filming games, but we didn't want, after the meeting, where they were making it pretty clear that if we want to say things a bit controversial, we've got to phone them up and verify it all, and because they're allowing us to film the footage. So I said to Jane, we want to remain independent to everything. We want to be able to say what we want to say. We don't want to be ringing up the club to check. I don't want to be ringing the club to check that what I'm saying is right. I'm going to say it. I'm a fan. I don't care. I don't work for the club. They don't pay me any money. So we have taken the match footage out. And to be honest with you, we've been thinking about taking the match footage out for a long time, because to be honest with you, the match footage spoils everything that I do. All the work I put in to the video. When I get to the match footage, I'm trying to, polish a turd to make it look good for you all, because it's half the time it's rubbish. So to be honest with you, I don't want the match footage in. It depresses me. I hate editing it, and also I can't film the things that I want to film. You'll notice on the video that we've done yesterday, there's a lot more of us talking and me showing you what is going on around us. And when I'm filming match footage, I can't show people streaming out. I can't tell the story like I want to tell the story. So it's this. My channel is not about Blackpool Football Club. It's not Blackpool Football Club Highlights channel. It is LeeCharlesTV. It's about you, and it's about us, me and Jane, and it's about our journey as Blackpool Football Club fans. And that's the story I'm telling. I'm trying to tell the story of what it's like to be a Blackpool Football Club fan, not what you can see the highlights anyway. You can watch them. If you want to see the goals, go and watch them. But what you will see on me is when a goal goes in, what it was like, what the atmosphere was like when the goal went in. So as if you're with us, you don't need to see the goal. You know it's a goal. You don't need to see all the misses and half chances and misses. You don't need to see it. You don't need to see. But what you need to see is a drama in the crowd, and that's what we're about. We're about telling the story of being a football fan. And it's not just about being a Blackpool Football Club fan. It's about being a football fan of a team that's not Manchester United or Liverpool or Arsenal or Tottenham or all these big clubs. And to get out to a bigger audience, we've got to appeal to football fans all over the world who want to see what it's like, what it's really like going through the hell of being a fan of a little club. And so, the match footage, I just don't need it. I don't need it. You don't need it. You need to come on a journey with us, and hopefully, we may lose thousands of subscribers. But if people are just watching it just to click through to the match highlights, then I'm not interested in that. That is not my interest in what I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to give you that experience of being a Blackpool fan, and I'm trying to give that to fans all over the world. If somebody's in Arkansas or in bloody America and they want to watch what it's like to be a proper football fan of an unfashionable team and see the hell, and we'll tell the story, and that's what it's all about. So. No, I'm happy. It's a decision that we've been thinking of for a long, long time. I've said to Jane loads of times that filming the match it spoils it for me. I hate filming the match. I don't enjoy it. I want to film what's going on. I want to show you what it's like, and that's my passion in this. And I just hope that you guys get that. And if you don't, I'm sorry. If you just watched it just to watch the goals going in, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's not going to be like that, because Blackpool Football Club are actually holding the channel down, because they let me down all the time. They let us down so often. My dad used to come out of a game, and he would actually come out of the game, and he would always, so often, he called Blackpool "let you down motors." You come out of the game, and he'd say, "Bloody let you down motors again. Let you down motors, Blackpool. They always are let you down motors." And that's what they are. They are let you down motors. They let you down so many times. So I'm happy to get rid of it. I'm happy that I don't have to edit tons and tons and tons that take me hours and hours and hours, and I can show you exactly what it's like to be at Bloomfield Road. So hopefully you like the change, but we don't know. Many may not. But if you want, there's It's Ramos who will show you all the goals. He's a great channel. Watch him. He's brilliant. George on It's Ramos. So you get all the highlights on there. So great. True Red said he didn't play his best players to their strengths, which only goes one way. Neil Hindle says, I would prefer Billy Eyre through a medium than Neil. Yeah, very sad. We'd all love to have Billy Eyre back, wouldn't we? And that passion. WG fan says, at least he did play Jan Poveda one time, unlike Dan Grimshaw. Well, yes. Will Smith says, a massive issue for us though is how many injuries we have. Yes, it's been a real bad thing, hasn't it? But I still think we've got the players to do it. I just don't think they were playing for Mick. I just don't think they were. Steve says, I think Blackpool are a League One side at best. Well, you've been talking to Ben Manford then, because he thinks the same thing. Talking CVG, Ian Everett shows how much you lot dream. You're a small club fan base. You're at home in League One. Thanks, Steve, for that. Probably a Bolton fan, are you, or a Preston fan? One or the other. Tower Power give a couple of thousand free tickets to schools for the last few home games. Try and get some young ones involved in it. Well, we always on this channel we try and get the young ones involved. You know, we try and get them. You know, they're all enthusiastic. They all want to be on YouTube, so we try and get as many young kids involved in it as we can. We do our bit for the younger generation. If we can get them supporting, that's what we want. Trevor Poxon says, is now the time for Charlie Adams to step up and be a manager? At least he will give passion and commitment. Well, we don't know for sure, do we? Semi-Charm Life says, he always loves the interviews with Blackpool fans in the videos. Yeah, more of that. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Our channel is all about you. It is. That's what it's about. It's about Blackpool fans. You're all welcome to come on. You can all say your bit. We have freedom of speech on here. We're not hamstrung by Blackpool FC to have to say things officially. We are a Blackpool fan channel. It's called Blackpool Fan Channel for a reason. It's not called Blackpool FC Fan Channel. It's just Blackpool Fan Channel because I love Blackpool Football Club and I love Blackpool as well, my town. So that's what I am. I'm all about Blackpool and particularly about the fan experience, and that's what I'm always trying to show. I'm not particularly interested in match footage. You can see that wherever you want to see it, but hopefully you'll stick with us. Michael Rees says, Blackpool till I die, but the fans have had the piss taken out of them for too long and too many times. No more gutted. Sadler, it starts with you. You need to act and start the rebuild. If you're listening to this, Simon, you do. Starting off with chucking out bullshit, Ben. Matthew Warrender is here. Don't think Mick McCarthy cared about us as a club or the fans. I think Mick McCarthy left us because he didn't want a championship relegation under his name. Well, or maybe he just thought, you know what, this isn't working, I'll give him a chance. Maybe he's given us a chance. Maybe he did have a bit of sympathy for us. Liam Healy says, sad to see Blackpool on the verge of relegation. I always enjoy a trip up to Blackpool for Sunderland away days. Hope you bounce straight back up. It would be nice, wouldn't it? WG fan says, non-football related, but have you gone to the Pleasure Beach yet? No, we haven't, but I want to go on Valhalla. I know it's open. I would like to go on Blackpool Pleasure Beach. We just haven't had the time. We've been so busy. Right, let's just go to Facebook very quickly. Stephen Huntley on Facebook says, hi Lee, some good news out of Gloomfield Road at last. He also says, no way should Critch come back. We weren't what you would call prolific in front of goal, and the way he left was despicable. You're right, we weren't. Thomas Pawson says, hi Lee, Stephen Dobbie should be the number one going forward. Well, we'll have to see how he does. And he also says that yesterday was embarrassing as well. Yes, it's the title of my video. Harry Wake says, if Critch gets the job, then the fans will be split 50-50. Aye, but we need to ask ourselves, why did Critch leave? Was it because of a very poor board? Who knows? Money for new recruits, questions the supporters. We will never know the answers. Questions the supporters we'll never know the answers to. Exactly, yeah, I think he would split. I would think he would split the fan base, and I would also say to Simon Sadler that you didn't listen to the fans about appointing Michael Appleton. You ignored it. To your peril, you ignored it, and I don't think the fans like Neil Critchley. I think he has burned his bridges with the way he left, and I don't think he will be a popular return. And I think if you do that, I think you're just asking for trouble again. Jay Kinsella says, is it true he dropped Yates for turning up late for a meeting? if he did, I mean, somebody rang me. No, my son rang me and said, but if Jerry H was sleeping with Mick McCarthy's daughter, you'd still play him. You know what I mean? You'd have to play him. If it was for disciplinary reasons, then honestly, I'm glad he's gone. I really am. Oh, right. Okay. A call coming in, Sean Stanhope. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Lee. You all right, mate?
Yes. Now, Sean, I've done some video work for Sean. Sean has got a company called JSM Developments, and they sponsor games, and you sponsor players, and you've put lots of money in this season. Tell me what you think, Sean. Tell me. Let it out. Let it rip.
It was probably one of the worst days I've had. Blackpool Football Club yesterday. Absolutely devastating, but the writing was on the wall. Before the game we were sort of discussing, and I said Mick McCarthy will go today, because I just I've been over in Blackpool all week, actually, Lee. I've been in the hotel and spoken to several players.
Right, okay. Right. Let's
got their stance on things.
Oh, right, okay. Right.
I won't name who they are, but
okay, that's fine. But you can kind of give us the gist, can't you?
Yeah, the gist is, well, obviously everybody's talking about Critch.
Yeah.
The players, let me tell you, loved Critch.
Yes.
And there's more to it than he just left. Okay. I know that now, but obviously I've been asked not to say anything.
Okay.
Oh,
God, say, for God's sake, say.
No.
You can't phone in and say you know why he left and then not tell us. Carry on.
I think it's a lot boils down to my friend and yours. At the club.
Yeah.
We know that is without
I can't bullshit Ben.
Yeah. Look, Critch had plans. He wanted to go forward.
Yeah.
The reason, obviously, we all know with the season at the end of last season when we played terrible home at Derby, we played terrible at Peterborough. We were both there, both games.
Yeah.
But he was trying to see who was up for it in his team. You know, the selection was, he's left Bowler out, he's left. We already knew about Bowler, so he had to bring other players in those positions. So yeah, it didn't quite work out for him, but I think going forward, I think he had more ambition than the club had. Let's put it that way. But certainly, as far now, one of the players was saying, well, what do the fans think of Critch? And I said, it's about 50-50.
It is, yeah.
50% want him back, 50% say no. I'm one of these sort of fans that think maybe people shouldn't go back. But, because it might not be the same. And if it's not the same, they're going to be on his back.
Yes, exactly.
And what we don't need is the club dividing any more than it has over the last sort of decade.
Yeah, well, that's been the problem, Sean. Do you not think from the start of this season that we weren't our normal Blackpool selves, were we? We weren't really behind Michael Appleton. And if Blackpool aren't behind the manager, you'll probably notice it more than like me, say, for instance, because I'm kind of in the noise and I'm in the south and I can't really, but you're right on the halfway line in hospitality. And would you say the atmosphere at Bloomfield Road has been, for quite a lot of games, especially the Tuesday night games in that way, it's just been not the level that we're kind of used to, and I felt that was because the fans have been divided over Appleton, and a lot not liking him. There's been people boycotting, because saying they're never going to come because, and it just, we lost we're still loud, but we're not on 100%.
No, 100% agree with that, Lee. It comes across. Sometimes. The noise is incredible, as we all know. When the whole ground's at it, it's fantastic. But it has lost its, even at away games, I've noticed, it's lost its edge a little bit. Fans walking out half time is just, I don't want to see it, to be honest.
No,
but
it was terrible.
They pay the money and they vote with their feet.
Yeah.
But I think the players that, not the players, sorry, the board that set up in that director's box needed to see that.
Yeah,
I think they did. They were all there. I was there last night. They were there. Well, gone 8:30 last night. So we all thought something's definitely going to happen, as we predicted. But and I sort of knew yesterday that Dobbie, I think, had been asked if he would step in. So things were put in place. We can't suddenly bring a manager in. We don't need to be appointing somebody from outside again. To try it, it just wouldn't work because we've got a game on Monday, haven't we? So
I've just had Eamon O'Keefe on the phone before you, and he was saying that him and Mick Conroy would come in tomorrow for free and do it.
Yeah, well, there'll be the motivation there.
Yes, and he said Mick's, been with Celtic when they won everything, so he's experienced. And they said, one of the things that Eamon said was that if any player was on the pitch who wasn't putting in 100% performance, he would take them off. They'd be off. It'd be like, if you don't put 100% performance in, I'm going to yank you off. And he would have that right from the start. And if they didn't show him, 100% battle, he just wouldn't put up with it. And I think we have put up, haven't we, with players. And yesterday in particular, it was just, they looked defeated, didn't they? Did you not think they looked like they'd just given up?
They looked defeated from the word off. Then maybe 5 minutes, and then once the goal went in, I've been saying for a few weeks that we should change the goalkeeper. Yeah, that's always been my opinion. I think Grimshaw is a better goalkeeper at commanding his area. Right, he's still young and he's got things to learn. But I think we should have gone with Grimshaw. But I think Mick was one of these always trying. Well, if I don't get beat, I'll be okay. Not trying to,
trying to win.
We had
to win. We had to win yesterday.
Yeah.
We had to win. There was. We had to be the team that got the 3 goals and see Cardiff throw it away to us. But
as Jan Poveda came off yesterday, he was totally deflated when Mick McCarthy pulled him off. And Mick tried to put his arm around him. I don't know if you saw it, Lee, but he wasn't having any of it. Because. When he comes on, that lad has so much talent. It's incredible.
I know. But he had no strike. He had no strike. What was Jerry Yates injured? I mean, you're up there.
Yes, I spoke to Jerry.
He's got an injury
on Wednesday night. Yeah, he's got a strained hamstring.
Right. Okay. So let's put that to bed now, because a lot of people keep saying it was because Jerry
was from the horse's mouth.
Right. So that was from Jerry Yates. Right on here, 100%. So we can stop that right now. It was not because Jerry Yates was late for anything. He has got. I mean, I did notice he got injured in one game a while ago, didn't he? He was really struggling, and he kind of ran it off.
Struggling. He said he's been struggling for quite. You won't see it with his effort because his commitment's always been 100% with Jerry.
Yeah.
And he's such a nice lad.
That's why you love him,
really
isn't it? That's why you love him.
Whether he'll stay or not, he's got another year with an option of an extension. But whether he'll stay or not, who knows?
He's a good player, isn't he? And if he'd have been in a team with good service, this year. I mean, Fiorini's the one that, yesterday I thought he'd play him because I had mentioned that he's only played Fiorini's last 3 games have been QPR away, where he got injured, and we were brilliant first half away at QPR. Yeah. He come back for the Stoke game. He was brilliant. We were beating Stoke 1-0. We were all, the first half it was all Blackpool. We were deservedly 1-0 up. He takes him off because of his yellow card, and Stoke batter us, didn't they? We hung on for dear life, managed to get it over the line. He then drops him, doesn't play him. He then brings him back for QPR at home. He takes him off when we're 5-1 up. He absolutely murdered. He's fast, he's quick, isn't he? He gets the ball, pings it across, pings it around. He is going to be a talent for Man City, not for us, unfortunately. But he is going to be a talent, and I couldn't believe he didn't get played. And Patino plays well with him.
He does. Patino, he's had a couple of bad days. I just think nobody's taken to Mick. I honestly do. That's the feeling I get from the players. It's the feeling I get from the club when I'm there. Not that he's, Mick McCarthy's a lovely, lovely guy to talk to. He really is. Yeah. But
he's funny.
But I also got a massive vibe that nobody really saw eye to eye with Appleton. He never really wanted to play Jerry Yates and Gary up front. No. He didn't ever want to play him.
And yet they played so well together, didn't they?
Yeah, but he wouldn't have it. He wouldn't have it. It's not his, he used to say it's not his system, and used to frustrate certain players. I know that.
Sure, it did. Because remember when Medine and Yates put their heads superimposed on York and Dwight York and Cole, wasn't it? They put their heads on and they said, like, they were the new York and Cole, didn't they? Because they love it. They play together so well. They're like best mates.
The best mates.
So why would you not play those two players together? And like I say, Gary Medine brings the best out of Yates. Yates brings the best out of Gary Medine.
100%.
They play for each other. They're not selfish with it. If if Yates has got it and he sees Medine's in a better position, he'll put it across, and vice versa.
It's. I think we've missed a trick this season. The rot were by the time Mick McCarthy came in, the rot was already set, wasn't it? To be honest,
but we had so many. We had, looking back on it now, because I remember when he first came in, I'm thinking, oh my God, we've only got 19 games to go. Can we do it? And yet I'm still, even now at this point, there's a little child in me saying that Dobbie could just change, the whole mentality of the club, and we could go on this new manager bounce, and he could get 4 wins on a bounce. And if we did, we could still get safe. Now with 6 games to go, there were so many games. There was a lot of games, and there's a lot of games we've just thrown them away.
Huddersfield win 2 games and look at now.
I know. Yeah, they've just leapt up the table, haven't we? 2 games.
Yeah, but I remember Dobbie obviously scoring at Wigan away. When we were in a similar predicament, and his commitment for the club and everything was always 100%. So who knows? He's going to lift the players. The players all know him. Because now one thing that Mick McCarthy has done is he's brought the fringe players, academy fringe development squad together with the first team, so they're all as one now.
Right.
Where when it was Appleton, the first team trained on their own and development was away. So that has hopefully brought the players together. They all know Dobbie, so fingers crossed that he's going to change on Monday.
They're going to play for him. Maybe it's a massive weight off the players. Just maybe it's a massive weight off them and those.
I think it's a massive weight off Mick McCarthy because he, the last few weeks when I've seen him around the club, he just hasn't been. He didn't look his normal bouncy, happy, smiley self. He just. I think it's brought him down, and he did. Look, he made a bit of a statement, hasn't he? He said, he wants to thank everybody. It's the best interest of the club, and yes, it is the best interest of the club.
It is.
He's gone out. He's come in. He's tried. He just hasn't worked. But when we all thought, oh, Mick McCarthy's got, but when we look back, he hasn't really achieved much. But we just thought it with that experience of been in a relegation fight that he had, so again, I think it was just a knee-jerk reaction because of the building pressure on getting Appleton out.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was hard to ignore as a director that sacked in the morning and all that sort of stuff. Especially at Wigan, I thought they might have got rid of him then actually. Because it was really loud at Wigan when they were singing "Sacked in the Morning," and you've got to be you've got to have real steel inside to ignore.
Well,
that.
he hasn't gone anywhere else, has he, Lee?
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No,
he might go back to Lincoln. He seems happy there, doesn't he?
Yeah,
put his slippers on and finish mid-table.
Yeah, he definitely was. He definitely wasn't a man. He was a bad,
huge bad choice. He wouldn't. I remember when he first started, and of course at the club when start of the season we have like a sponsors lunch where we're all invited and we meet some players, new manager or their manager, and he wasn't interested in talking to anybody. He just was, he just wasn't a people person.
No.
And what I would like to see at Blackpool, because of, I want to bring back what Holloway brought. He brought the whole town together.
Yes, he did, with enthusiasm, with like dreams. He dreamed big, didn't he? He came in and he dreamed big. And these, I know you speak. Well, you don't speak to Ben Masford too much because he won't speak to you. But he spoke to us, and I've told you what he said to us. He said that basically Blackpool are punching above the weight. They've been punching above the weight since Simon Sadler came in. We are exactly where we should be, which is in the bottom 3 of the Championship. And if we can just get 1 point outside, the bottom 3, we have done a job. And that is not the person I want running this club.
No, it's not mine.
No,
I don't. Well, it's not the person that fits in with the ethos of the history of the club.
Yeah.
You know, we can all live on history. You know, even like Liverpool are having a bad season this season. Not as bad as us, but they're having a bad season. And everybody says, you know, Liverpool should be, you know, a top 3 team. And sometimes it does happen. But what it is Liverpool are already planning for next season, bringing new players in, new ideas to take them back to what you know, where they want to be.
Yes, exactly.
At the moment, we've gone through all season with no. We're like a ship without a rudder. I think,
and no ambition. There's no ambition other than just finishing 4th from bottom, isn't there? Really,
and the players as professional footballers want more than that. Never mind the fans.
James made a point that I keep saying that as well to them, that they're basically telling these players that they're not good enough for the Championship. You're just not good enough for the Championship. I'm sorry, but just do your best and try and keep us in there, lads, because, you know, you're really punching above your weight and
it's deflating.
It's deflating. It's totally deflating. It's totally the wrong thing. And shouting at referees, I've already said that, is absolutely stupid. And it's no wonder we keep getting bad referees, because I bet they all talk to each other and say, Jesus, Ben Mansford just accused me of being a cheat and all this. You know, it's not. It's just not professional, is it? It's not.
Well, everybody expects it. Sometimes, well, the players are very emotional when they're playing. You know, I've played, you know, football, and I'm emotional, but you don't expect it from your board, not CEO at club.
No, well, they'll be used to it. They'll be used to hearing fans. You know, you're not fit to referee. Who's the bastard in the black? All the stuff we sing at them. That'll just be like water off a duck's back. They won't even hear that. Well, they're not interested. But I tell you, they won't have directors coming shouting at them all the time like that. It's just not respectful, and pathetic, really is.
100%, mate. We can only wait now till Monday and just see. A-team selection will be interesting, because Dobbie was always an attack-minded player.
Yeah.
But we can't defend at the moment either.
No, so we might as well attack. We might as well attack, because we can't defend. We know that, can't we? So just go for him. You know, we've got to go for it. And I said that before the game, you know, in my pre-match thing, that we've got to go for it. We've got to just go at them. And we, like you say, we did for 5 minutes, and, you know, but there was no striker, was there? Because there was a ball in the first half that came across, and their keeper fumbled it, and he kind of fumbled it right into the middle of the goal. And if Jerry Yates had been there, it would have been the tap-in of the century. All he had to do was knock it in. And there was nobody. There wasn't any player within 10 yards of that ball, and the defender got to it and cleared it away.
I didn't think Morgan Rogers, not that he didn't, you know, he had a go, Morgan Rogers, but he didn't have any. He didn't know where he needed to be. He didn't know where Mick wanted him to play.
But is he a striker? You know, Jane keeps saying, is he actually a striker, or is he a midfield? Is he actually a midfielder? He is tricky. But is he really just a midfielder? He's not particularly
he's an attacking midfielder. That's how I would put
Morgan he's not a striker, is he? It's not a natural thing for him. And so that's all we had up front, didn't we? Morgan Rogers. I mean, why didn't he? He actually shoved Sonny Carey up. Do you remember? He shoved Sonny Carey up front, didn't he, because he was scoring goals? Well, he might have been better shoving Sonny Carey up and bringing Fiorini on, and not having, you know, and having Sonny Carey up maybe as a striker for that one. It seemed to abandon that idea, but that's what it's been. It's been like
I think
it's been like mad ideas, hasn't it? Mad ideas, all, you know, like things that you think, what's he playing? You know, he plays Gabriel at Preston as a centre half. Like, why? You know, you're thinking, why? He brings Keshi Anderson back on to start against Preston, and he's only just had like about 20 minutes of a game. He's been out for a year.
Yeah.
You know, he lasted 20 minutes the last time he came back and went off again for months. So why was Keshi Anderson suddenly the player you'd start with at Preston? I didn't get any. I didn't get any.
Well, we all look at that, and I was obviously up in the Matthews on Friday, and I was just waiting for the team selection, and obviously they bring the team sheet, and I went,
Jesus.
Oh, right. No, I thought the first, well, at least it's got a bit of width here.
Polar and Pervader in, which, you know, Jane was going mental when she, you know, she says, oh, yeah, boom, you know, they're in. But we hadn't actually spotted that Jerry Yates wasn't in at this moment. We hadn't noticed there was no striker.
Right, yeah.
We noticed that later, but at first reaction, it looked quite good.
Yeah, I think maybe Jerry Yates probably, I don't know if he'll make Wigan, but he probably might be okay for... Luton, he'd probably be okay for Wigan.
For Wigan,
fingers crossed with that.
So we're going.
he's up there on his own. The lad's frustrated. I know he is.
Well, you saw him, didn't you, at Preston, didn't you? He was, honestly,
Yeah.
his body language, he was like, he couldn't believe the balls they were sending him through. He was like, what? One of your hands were out wide,
Yeah.
saying, what was that you give me? And then he's clearing a ball as a left back, isn't he? You know, he's clearing a ball, a brilliant clearance. But what's he doing? What's he doing there? What's Jerry Yates there clearing a ball as a full back? It's just nonsense. Yeah. Okay. Right, you've let some steam off. You've got me ranting.
Yeah, we have, mate. That's good. Thanks,
Eamon O'Keefe said, you know, when Appleton came for the job.
Yeah.
And they looked at his, like, so, you know, they asked the question, so, have you been successful anywhere? And he must have just said, like, well, I haven't been successful anywhere. And they went, right, well, you got the job. It's like, why would you give him the job? Why would you give Appleton, what have you been successful at? Well, nothing. I've not been, you know, you beat me at Wembley. I've done absolutely nothing. I've not had any success in my career whatsoever.
Yeah,
perfect. You're the man for the job. Who is doing these interviews? Who is it? Why would you take Appleton on? His success rate is like.
No, and they interviewed him 3 times. Like, he hasn't done times.
He hasn't done anything, has he? He hasn't achieved or won anything, Michael Appleton, has he?
No, and
he's got nothing on his CV.
When we took him on, I've got a guy who I know he runs a car sales over in Hull.
Yeah,
and a big Lincoln supporters, a sponsor Lincoln, everything, and he went, "Oh my God, I can't!" But he rung me up and he said, "You've taken Appleton on."
Why?
He couldn't believe it. He went, "Are you on board insane?"
Just, it is, honestly, it is unbelievable. You know, it's like me coming for you know, for a job for you, and you say, right, you know, we do like, you know, petrol tankers underneath the thing. Have you ever, you know, done any of that? I said, well, no, I've worked in a bank. You're the man for the job. I'm a DJ.
Start on Monday.
Start your Monday. It's just stupid, isn't it? It's mad. Anyway, thanks for calling in, Sean.
No problem.
I know you're tearing your hair out,
you.
and thank you for, you know, giving us a little taster of what you've heard at the hotel over the week. I know you couldn't say players, but thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers. Thank you.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
There we are, everyone. Sean Stanhope there. He's been in the hotel. He's been in the Blackpool Hotel, and well, you can read between the lines on what he was saying, can't you? Adam Cooper says, "Bring Critchley back, spell of our pride. He made a mistake. Let him own the mistake and fix things." Well, can he? I don't know. Ian Bowman says, "Nathan Jones is passing his fake ass." Sean Throtfall says, "Lee Charles for the Blackpool job. I said it on Facebook. I say it now." Well, I haven't got any qualifications. I've never been a great footballer. I'm a great football fan. I'm a professional football fan of Blackpool Football Club, but I'm not a great player. I don't think there'd be any respect for me. I think, you know, like Amy says, you've got to have a manager in that players respect. Let's just go back to Curtis McCann says, "See you next season," from Fleetwood Town. Brilliant. Semi-Charles says, "CV not fit to stock shelves at Tesco. Get in." Yeah, exactly. Luke Garber in centre mid. And King says, "Is this McCarthy's agent talking forever on early? Give someone else a chance. It's not a laughing matter, pal." Well, I'm only really taking a couple of calls. What do you mean, McCarthy's agent? He didn't have much to say for McCarthy. I'll tell you what. Well, we will let some other people come on. Let's plug the other phone in, and you can phone in. Let me just get that, and I'll give you the number to call in. Let's go there. We're going to put that number up on screen and in there. Right, okay, we're good to go. If you can now call into the show, and we will give people a chance to say what they want to say. So I think the first call we got coming in is Harry. Are you there, Harry? Hello? Right, okay, let me just put you into the show, Harry.
No, thank you.
Right, okay, Harry. This is Harry Wake, obviously from Yorkshire Seasiders. I'll be taking more calls if people are trying to phone in, but we'll open it up as soon as. I'm going to give everybody about 5 minutes now because we're trying to get through as many calls as we can. So what have you got to say, Harry?
Well, I was over more when Eamon O'Keefe come on. Brilliant. I'd privilege of seeing him playing. He did 110%. And the last gentleman that came on, he said it as it is. What I've been saying and others from day one.
Yeah.
Appleton got a job because Mansford was his agent.
Right.
And that's all there is to it. What Mick McCarthy should have done when he came as a manager to get respect, he should have had all the squad in a room and said, right, them that want to play for me, sit on that side of the room. Others sit on that, because they haven't been playing for him.
No, they haven't.
They haven't wanted to play for him.
No.
They've been hiding. They've been cheating.
Yep. Yep.
If you played football, you can see the players hiding. They don't want to know. Anybody can run round the pitch for 90 minutes and have a sweat on. They've got no time in it.
No.
They need to take a look at themselves. Let's hope Stephen Dobbie can do something.
Yeah.
Because we're a lot better with these players. They're a lot better than what they're showing, Lee.
Well, we know that, Harry. I've been saying that all along. The players looked defeated yesterday when they came on the pitch. They looked like, the body language, it was pretty clear that they'd given up and they were not happy. You could see they were not happy, and they obviously were not happy with Mick McCarthy. And, and Sean there, who stays in the hotel quite a lot of times, said the players weren't happy with Appleton either. They didn't like him.
Well,
So there you go. That came from.
He had nothing going for himself, did he, Appleton? No emotion or any passion or nothing.
And I didn't know that as well. That Appleton had the main team training separately to the development squad. They weren't all together, and Mick McCarthy has brought them all together. So now the development squad train with the main squad. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing that Mick McCarthy did. And so they all know Dobbie. All the players will know Dobbie, and they may just play for him. And if they do, and he plays players in the right positions, with no Jerry Yates, obviously, but who knows? We've still got 6 games left to go, and a couple of wins.
Now, but we're not relegated till it's impossible.
Exactly.
But if Stephen does a great job, I'd get in touch with Holloway, give him a job upstairs, nothing to do with football.
Right.
With Stephen's particular football team, but to get players, to look for players for future for us, because Holloway is good at picking players out.
Yeah.
Like a coach. And get a coaching system like we had with Jack Chapman. Look at players that he found for us.
Holloway in his direct of football, would you say? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Holloway in his direct. Well, yeah, that's
and he's got no
experience, isn't
picking teams. That's up to Stephen.
Yeah.
But to look for players all over, and I think he could get some.
Yeah.
It needs Simon Sadler, because I still think he's got the money to take us forward, but he's got to get rid of Ben Mansford for a start.
Yes. I think we're all agreed on that, Harry. I think Ben Mansford's the problem.
I hated him from day one. That's why Appleton got a job.
Right.
He was his agent. He'll have still had probably something to do with, but you've got to be careful what you say. And then relieve Brett Garrity and his football duties, because they don't know anything about football.
No, they don't.
Like Eamon O'Keefe said.
Yeah, they don't know anything about football. We've got two.
Back in the corner till I need him.
Exactly. Yeah, he should be there. Brett Garrity should be sorting out whether we've got enough coffee and all that sort of stuff in the bars, and whether the bars are stocked up. But actually running the football club,
clearing up after the fans have gone home.
Yes, exactly. He's just not the man for the job at the moment. Well,
Brett should have said to Simon, because Simon was honest and says, I don't know how to run a football club. So he put Brett in charge. Now, Brett should have had balls and said, well, I appreciate it, Simon, what you want me to do, but I don't know how to run a football club. You need some proper football people in.
Indeed.
Which you do, don't you?
You do.
Now,
Yes, you do. 100%.
Eamon O'Keefe would be a great board member.
Of course he would. And look at how passionate. Look at how passionate he is about the club. You know what I mean? Just from his phone call in, he's passionate about Blackpool. He loves his time
and
here.
Like with players, if they're not trying, I mean, Mick doesn't stand for no nonsense. Eamon said that, but if players don't want to play for him, Mick will have probably looked at boardroom and thought, what a joke these are.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just wait till end of May and pick my money up.
Yeah, exactly, because they're not football.
I went to that dialogue meeting.
Yeah.
They showed the true colours, even Simon. They're running the club amateurist.
Yeah. Well, they've had
Some
no
of them
success, have they?
questions that Simon gave to me are laughable. And I'm trying to get them through minutes, but I can't get hold of them.
No.
I can tell you what he said if you want. Somebody mentioned something about why we're getting loan players. He says we can't afford players on a contract. I said, what about this bid cut then? Or Appleton's brought in.
Yeah.
He's on £4,100 a week. He's only played 180 minutes. That's £213,200 a year for 12 months. That Colby Bishop, he wanted £4,000.
I know.
The club offered him 3,800. He went to sign for Portsmouth.
I know.
Apparently failed a medical. He scored 20 plus goals. Ben Manson says, do you know about these figures? I says, of course I do. He says, we can't discuss players' salaries, which is fair enough. Anyway, somebody else said something, meeting went on about investment, and Simon Sadler said to this bloke who put that question in, ask Harry, he's got all figures. Now, is that professional?
No, it's not. It's not, Harry.
Right?
On that, we'll leave it on that. We know they're not professional. Thanks, Harry.
Can I just tell you another one?
Go on, because I've got loads of
And
people
then we'll go.
keep trying to ring
I
in.
did ask, and I says, did Michael Appleton get the job because he's Ben Manson's mate? And Simon Sadler rubbed his hands and laughed, and he said, yeah. That what it went on to another question.
Oh, God. Right. I'm glad I wasn't there, Harry.
And
That's why I didn't go.
That's true.
I'm glad I wasn't there. Right. Thank you very much for your call, Harry. Thank you.
Right.
And I agree with you. Maybe Holloway upstairs. It's outside the box. I like it. Right. That was Harry Wake. Some Holloway upstairs. Would you think? Let's have a look. Right. People phoning in. Let me just get that onto there. Hello. What's your name? Hello, Kevin. What do you want to say? Right. Just hang on. Let me just get you onto the. Let's get me on the show. Hi, Kevin. Go on. Start again. Sorry.
I'm just disgraced how the team's playing and the way things are going.
Yeah.
Blackpool, get back.
Well, that's fortunately nobody can. Nobody can hear. Nobody can hear you. Hello, who's this calling? My name's Terry. Hiya, Terry. Let me just put you onto the show.
Thank you.
Got rid of the silly knob. Right, hi.
Hiya. Is that Lee?
It is.
Oh, right, you sound different. Sorry. Yeah, what it is, you're talking about Critchley coming back. What the hell is the problem with that? You want him back, don't you? He was fantastic for Blackpool.
He was, but the way he left didn't go down very well with a lot of fans.
Why did he leave, though, Lee? Why did he leave?
Well, we all kind of think it's because somebody's already mentioned already that he didn't have the the club didn't have his ambition,
exactly.
And
that's the club's fault. That's down to the club.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think
this is why they're down. This is why Blackpool have gone down.
Yeah.
If they are going down, and he knew that. He knew that. He's obviously an intelligent guy. He wasn't going to be a part of that. You know what I mean? He probably said, "This is what we need. This is what we need to go forward." Right? And Blackpool, as always,
said no.
Now,
No.
Well, no, we're not doing that. We're not agreeing to that. okay, then I'm not going to stay then because we're going down. And they say, right, off you go. And they brought in a cheaper option, as you say, a friend of somebody as well.
Yeah.
And it's obviously going to go pear-shaped. I said, I've rang you before, and I said when he played Preston earlier on, when Blackpool won 4-2, they gave absolutely everything. I said they're leaving everything out there, Blackpool, the players. I disagree with you. I don't think Blackpool are good enough. I don't think the players are good enough at all. And early on in the season, they were leaving everything out there and doing fantastic. But I predicted to go down because they weren't good enough. And you could see that even in early on.
I thought there was a problem back then because of the injuries that we seemed to be playing just like, players like all the time. You could see they were tired. They were getting tired. They were giving 100%. I agree with you. Right. But the injuries, there was nobody else really to put on at one stage, was there? There was that many bloody injuries. And also players going off injured all the time. And red cards. I know.
They had players to come in, Lee,
Red cards didn't
Blackpool
help as
won't
well.
invest in that. The guy rang up earlier and said, why don't we have Hollingway as director of football? Well, do you think Blackpool's going to pay extra money to get him as well as a manager?
Probably not.
Of course they're not. Blackpool's not going to spend that money. You know what I mean? On two people like that. Well, he won't spend one decent amount of money and getting a proper manager. So they're not going to get somebody upstairs, and pay decent money for that as well. Blackpool are not that ambitious. No. It comes down to the club and the board, and they're not being that ambitious.
I agree.
If Critchley comes back, I don't think Blackpool should have a go at Critchley.
Right, okay.
Why should he stay for Blackpool? When he's obvious, he could see what was going to happen, and he was absolutely bang right. I think they'll be very lucky to get him back.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if they do get him back,
right.
Hopefully they'll give him to his demands and might see a bit more ambition next season.
I actually think, to be honest with you, if Critch did come back and he was doing really, really well, you know what I mean, and he brought some because I always thought with Critch that because he'd been so long as an under-23 coach at Liverpool, he's seen some of the best lads, and he will know lads he will have a list as long as of your arm of players he knows can be a left back, who can be a right back, who can be a centre mid. They've seen them all playing, and he'll have this massive, book basically full of players. And I think that was what he brought to the club, and he wanted to develop the youth side of it, didn't he? That was his kind of main thing, bring the youth through. And I think Blackpool fans would be happy with him we're happy with anybody for winning. You know what I mean? Football's all about winning, and we're not winning. Yeah. That's the problem, and it's not going to go well.
Yeah, but what you're talking about, Lee, is him coming into the club when the club at the moment is very down, and he might not raise spirits. Right. Well, I think people's spirits should be raised if he comes back. I think it's a fantastic appointment. I won't blame him at all for not going. Why would you stay at Blackpool? Why would you? If you know that the club has no ambition of keeping that club in that division, why would you put your name to that and then go down and then nobody's going to employ you because you think it's down to you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? He made a very prudent decision. Yeah. Right? He didn't want to make it. Obviously, he's been at Blackpool for a couple of seasons. He's done great. He wanted to build on that and what have you. But he knew that the club didn't match his ambition.
Yeah.
And obviously, he knew where they were going. So to get him back, would be a great fillip for the club, and I think the supporters should welcome him. It's not him.
Yeah,
it's the board and the ambition and the lack of ambition shown.
We know. I've met the board and they told me the ambition. I've already told you what they said to what Ben Mansford said to me, and I couldn't believe what I was. We said in the meeting, that's not Blackpool. You don't get us. You don't get us, pal. We're not here to just stay in the Championship and hang on. We're here to overachieve and get back in the Premier League. That's what we want.
Well,
don't we? We want that bloody Premier League season, that money and everything that we should have had, under the Oysons 13 years ago now. But all that, we want that, and we want to see that money, put into the club and get the sort of legacy that we never got.
Well, the club, thanks to Critchley, obviously, has exceeded its ambition by getting into the Championship. Probably for the board thought, oh God. we'd have to spend some money here, so, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they're not willing to carry on like that. And anybody who blames Critchley for walking out in the club is mad, because at the end of the day, he wouldn't have done that lightly.
No.
Not after the 2 years for an assistant's job. For an assistant job, not for a better managerial job. You've
convinced me. Critch back. Well, they are talking to him apparently.
Well, I think that's Blackpool should be Blackpool supporters should be praying and hoping. And I'd never blame Critchley. I've never blamed him for leaving. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit for leaving. You know what I mean? Blackpool have been the club. I've been following Blackpool with my dad.
Yeah.
Well, when they were in the old First Division, in the early 70s. 1971, the last season in the First Division, the then First Division, and Blackpool all the time through Oyster. I've been following them through those times when Austin was in charge, and it's always been the same, and it's back to the same again now. No ambition. No ambition. They just want to, as you say, they just want to kind of like survive. I don't know if they actually want to survive so much. No. You know what I mean? But
they want to go back down. Ambition. They want to go back down to League One, where it's not quite as expensive, and the more suited to it. That's the opinion I got.
That's right. I mean, that's what they brought this manager in, obviously on the cheap, because he had no previous experience in management. Yeah. And he came in and did a fantastic job. You know what I mean? Above everybody's expectations, including the board. And they find themselves in the Championship. He stays with them for the first season. He does fantastic last season. Absolutely, what a performance!
Yeah.
Blackpool.
We were safe for like 2 months to go.
Heaven on earth to keep him.
Yeah,
you think you'd move heaven on earth to keep Critchley, wouldn't you? After what he's done, and Blackpool will let him go for a assistant's job. But Blackpool fans, you need to start thinking about a lot of them need to start thinking. Why has this gone wrong? Why is Critchley left? Critchley left because I'm going to go to a better. It's an assistant's job. He's gone for. That's how. He knows what's going to happen to Blackpool. I could see what's going to happen to Blackpool this season. You know what I mean? It was no fair guessing, and it's been proven right. And for him to be, if Blackpool get impact, it'd be great news.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. You've convinced me. I hope you've convinced everyone in the chat as well. I don't know how the chat's going, but yes, Critchley back. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
But saying that, I actually thought Mick McCarthy was a good appointment. So you know what I mean.
Well, I said it at the start. My dad liked Mick McCarthy, but he really wasn't.
He didn't. No, he didn't. He's probably too old school. He's probably too disciplined. Some players he wanted a bit more out of, and they weren't going to give it. Or couldn't give it, and what have you. And he wasn't pleased with that. And
They weren't playing for him. They obviously were not playing for him. We could all see that, can't we? It was as clear as it was.
You should always play for, it doesn't matter who's in charge. You're getting a good wage. It's about the supporters as well, It's not just the manager. You give absolutely everything for that town and for the club and for the supporters and what have you. Right. Everything, whether you like the manager or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's not a good sign. So I feel a bit sorry for McCarthy because obviously some of the players weren't good enough. Some of the players maybe having an attitude problem. I don't know. They weren't his players.
No.
But I thought he would. I thought McCarthy would rally them. I really did.
So did I. So did I. I'll hold my hand up, and I thought he would, but he didn't. Right. Thanks for the call. Thanks for calling in.
Right, Lee, thank you.
I agree with all of it. Right. Okay. Bring Critchley back.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Definitely.
Bye.
Bye now. Cheers.
Well, there we are. Did Critchley leave because the writing was on the wall? And are we right? Michael Haig said, though he's not done it right, we've got a call coming in. Let's see. There's that many calls coming in. Let's see if I can. Who's this? Hello, what's your name? Hiya, Josh. No. Are you still there? Yeah, you're still there. Just let me get you on. Hiya, Josh. What do you want to say?
Well, first of all, I'm not happy with the manager thing. The situation that we're in is awful.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to say, Blackpool get back.
Right, there we are. Blackpool get battered everywhere we go. That's the end of him. That's great. Okay, it's just about. He nearly got the battered in, didn't he? Before I cut him off. Let's see who we got on here. Another one coming in. Hi, what's your name? Hello. Oh, are you there? No. Oh. Sorry, I just clicked you off there. Don't know where you were. You said hello, and then I went, sorry. You can call in again. Let's see. Oh, okay, we'll take this one. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Lee. How you doing, mate?
I know you've been trying to get through, but it keeps beeping on the call, so I have to keep clicking it off.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go on. What do you want to say?
A couple of points, really. As for Critchley coming back, for me, no way. It kind of goes back to what Eamon O'Keefe was saying. What have you done at your last two jobs? Been sacked. You know, walked out of the one before. As for this going for number 2, Villa, yeah, he went for number 2 on £1 million a year.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it was kind of a step up, wasn't it? Without the pressure, really, wasn't it? But
absolutely. And
but do you not think he walked away from being
would have gone on, wouldn't he?
He was like the bloody messiah here, wasn't it? At the end of the day, I find it hard to believe that he would walk away from all that adulation to just become a coal man at Villa. And I know it didn't work out, and I'm glad it didn't work out because I was really angry that he'd gone and taken that job. I wasn't. Most Blackpool fans, I know the previous caller was saying, why wouldn't we want Critchley back? But a lot of people think he just, he left us.
All it's going to do, it's just going to divide the club again, divide the fan base, like it did with Appleton.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, when the day Appleton was announced, I messaged you on Facebook, and I just put, fucking Appleton with a question mark.
Oh, no.
I was livid.
I know, it's like Eamon O'Keefe was saying to me, you look at his CV, what success have you had, Michael? And it just says, like, none. Oh, right, you've got the job. He's done nothing.
Because bullshit Ben's my mate, so, I mean, did he really interview him 3 times, or was that just an excuse to go out on the piss 3 times and the club footed the bill? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Maybe, right. Thank you very much. So you're definitely Critch. No. Critch.
No, I'm
Critch,
sorry.
No.
And again, the end of the season, the end of last season, after that international break, we were dire.
Yeah.
We were absolutely dire.
We were actually worse than we were before the international break, weren't we? So what the hell
we
happened?
We were awful.
I think we've commented on that quite a few times, that we were better we weren't playing well before the break, but after the break we were literally worse than we were before we had the break. So what were they doing? Oh man.
Well, yeah. Well, he was obviously talking to his mate Stevie G, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just ticking the days off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Anyway, that's all I want. Ran over,
thanks,
mate.
Steve. Ran over. Okay. Thanks for calling in. Thank you.
Cheers, Lee. Bye.
Bye. Okay, we've got another call coming in. Hello, what's your name? Well, I'll tell you what, nobody can hear you, mate, so you can shout all you like. Right, okay, so that's gone. Right, that one's gone. Sensible callers only now, if we can. I'm going to take a few more calls. We're getting lots of knobbers coming in now. James 007 says, Eddie Howe left us for a bigger team, failed there, then came back, and the rest is history. Critchley is in a similar boat. If you can get him back, frankly, I don't think you're going to be able to see. But it divides opinions, James. You know what I mean? It does. That's obviously James Bond as well. He's 007. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. Does it work out? Just because it worked out for Eddie Howe does not necessarily mean it will work out for Critch. Let's see if there's any more. Semi-channel likes. Smash the like button. Exactly. Smash that like button. YouTube likes it when there's lots of likes, and it puts the stream out so more people will watch it. If you want to support us, give the video a like. Michael Haig says, we're talking to a Cardiff fan today. He was at the game yesterday and said MICK MCCARTHY was a disaster. Well, we all know that. Well, he saved them the first time, but he didn't take them down. He didn't take Cardiff down. So that's wrong. He actually kept Cardiff up, and then he lost about 10 games in a row, didn't he? And they potted him, and somebody else saved him. So he didn't take them down. So I don't know who you're talking to, but I was obviously talking shit. Shane Benjamin said, problem is when Simon Selder came in, fans wanted East doing, training ground sorted, etc. Money gets earmarked for all of that. Then we overachieved into the Championship, hard to then relocate funds. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe just overstepped it and they just couldn't afford it. But you've got to put football first. Hello, what's your name? You're through to the show.
My name's Dave.
Yeah? What would you like to say? Yeah, well, nobody can hear you, so thanks. That's all right. Nobody can hear that. Right, he was wishing us some sort of death going back into League One. Knob a fan. So yeah, there's more phoning in. Hello, you're through to the show. What's your name? It's you again, mate. And nobody can hear you, mate. You're on mute, so you're wasting your time. Totally wasting your time. Right. Yeah, Blackpool fans need to understand that we're a small club. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the mentality that keeps you a small club. That's the whole point. Blackpool fans have been in the Premier League. We got in the Premier League with less actual seats than we've got now. So that's bullshit. You know, Bournemouth have got back in the Premier League with 12,000 seater stadium as well. You know, Luton are on the edge of it, aren't they? And they've got an old, decrepit old stadium. You've got to think big. You can't think little as a football fan. It's got to be rated as the worst comment so far. Yes, he did get potted after losing 10 games on the bounce. Yes, he did. He didn't take them down. Thanks. I'm glad you've corrected that, Michael. Right, okay, I think that's it. I think I've been here for, God knows, I've been here for, we've done nearly 2 hours here, so I think that's enough. I think we've all had enough. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that we're happy that Mick McCarthy's gone, that we are, glad he's gone. There's a little bit of a hope. I think there's a split on Critchley. I don't think he's probably the answer. I think everybody's in agreement that Ben Mansford is just a waste of space and just doesn't get us, and he needs to go. Simon Sazer's watching this. It's not anything about football. What's on his CV? What's on Ben Mansford's CV? What's the success he's had? He's just not the right man for the job. So thanks for watching. We're going to Luton tomorrow. So if you go into Luton like us and you're mental, we'll see you there. Thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And we're going to Luton. I've we're going to Luton on Monday. So we will see you there. See you on Monday if you're going to Luton. Thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully Stephen Dobbie is the man. Bye, everyone.